What's up, everybody? This is Cyrus here with Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics, where we normally talk about life after death, spiritual subjects, metaphysical stuff. Tonight, I'm going a bit off topic and discussing why YouTube seems to be a dying platform, and this relates to a few people asking if this channel is going to keep going and why my videos have slowed down as of late, because I do have to seriously consider like where I'm allocating my resources and if there's some possible other platforms to use besides YouTube to keep making these videos in particular. And I also want to talk about how YouTube is dying as a whole. So maybe you've arrived at this channel from elsewhere, maybe you're not involved in this kind of subject, and that's fine. In the unlikely event that YouTube's algorithm is actually working for a new channel and you came here from someplace else and you're interested in like internet marketing, that's great, because that's kind of what this video is about. So I've been involved in internet marketing, I'd say, for about 8 years. And during that time, I've noticed that while most platforms that I've used to build like websites or followings or to market products, I sell a lot of cookbooks and recipes and things like that, believe it or not. And at this point, like, selling a cookbook on the internet is somehow suddenly easier than getting a subscriber on YouTube. So what does that tell you? That's kind of weird, isn't it? With all the platforms I've used, I've always noticed a kind of consistency, so that if I just have a normal web page and I write content for that web page, it will have a kind of permanent impression on Google, and this will give that website a little bit more clout. So, as an example, with the Afterlife Topics website, so I have a bunch of articles up on that site, a bunch of essays that I've written, and I don't update the site very often. It's seldom, because it can take so much time producing like a piece of original work, an essay. A lot of times, if I am going to put a lot of time and effort into writing, it might be going to something like my next book, for example. But just with all the articles on Afterlife Topics, each article has an impression on Google, which means each article has a consistent number of hits that it gets per day on Google after it kind of arrived to a particular position. What this means is that if I were to just consistently produce content on Afterlife Topics, like every day producing an essay until I have 500 up, it's almost guaranteed that it would be a site that's getting thousands upon thousands of hits per day, which would be very successful, just based on the Google algorithm. Okay, so the same thing I've noticed like with Amazon, where I make a level of money at selling books, not just my own, but other people's books as well. It's interesting that enough people are browsing Amazon and are willing to buy cookbooks and buy indie books and things like that, that every day I have sales. And it's a similar thing, how much money I invest into Amazon will result in more sales coming to me with the more content that I put out there. And this is also related to Amazon's algorithms and search engine optimization and things like that. What other categories can I think of? Instagram. So Instagram, if I wanted to invest into Instagram, and this relates more to like the travel niche that I do, when I'm posting travel photos and using hashtags, I get consistently new followers every single day. And if I wanted to invest my time into that, within a few months I could have tens of thousands of Instagram followers based on how I can project that type of thing. And I haven't like done that yet, because I'm focused more on my books, I'm focused on this topic, on this community. But with all that consistency, I've now learned that YouTube no longer has that ability. And this is a big problem for YouTube, and a big problem for new channels, and it's a big problem for this channel. So, let me, how do I explain this? So, back a few years ago, I put up a few videos on YouTube, and I noticed that it got kind of the same level, if not greater attention than using other internet platforms. I put up a documentary about North Korea when I went to North Korea the first time, and I mean that was a trending topic, but I mean that got a quick like 50-60,000 hits, so that was quite successful for like original content. I put up kind of like music video type analysis that got like 20-30,000 hits. I put up smaller clips from North Korea, each one getting thousands and thousands of views. So I always had YouTube in the back of my mind as another consistent internet platform that can be used to be able to continue as a self-starting operation of some kind. Now, recently, there's been a lot of changes to YouTube, and it appears to relate to the disintegration of new channels. Now, we can really get tinfoil hat conspiracy world with this type of idea, and I might go there just a little bit for this, and it actually might relate a little bit to what I talk about in this channel normally, because a lot of alternative media sites have been noticing what appears to be a concerted effort to squelch or censor new areas of information, alternative media, what have you. YouTube recently released a list of kind of like how their new protocol is going to take effect in terms of keeping people away from, quote, conspiracy theories. So this is troubling to a lot of content creators, because how do we define conspiracy theories? And the more they broaden that category, the more it means that they're just going to be silencing channels that talk about any taboo subject, which could even involve the very things that I talk about. I had a video put up a few weeks back where I was basically debunking the QAnon phenomenon, which garnered a little bit of controversy, and I understand there's two sides to that story, but I wasn't necessarily taking the side that QAnon is completely legitimate. I was pointing out that there's people who have come forward to cast a bit of doubt on the whole QAnon conspiracy movement thing. But anyway, the point is, just because I had QAnon in the title of that video, I would not be surprised if that is why this channel has seen that kind of consistent subscriber count just drop off. Basically, when I first made this channel or began updating the channel consistently a few months ago, back like in November, I was getting 10 or 20 new subscribers per day, and now that has fallen off to like maybe 1 or 2 subscribers a day to sometimes negative 1 or 2 subscribers a day. And this is very odd because it just suddenly hit. Suddenly, it went from the channel being recommended, and you can check the analytics consistently, to the channel just sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say blacklisted, but the only traffic coming into these videos that I'm making is basically coming in from where I posted on Facebook. And again, Facebook is another platform that still works. The Afterlife Topics Facebook group consistently gets new people coming in every day. We've almost 10,000 people in the group at this point, and that's working out fine. But there's just something wrong going on with YouTube, and it just doesn't have the same effect that it used to have. And this is a big problem. So the question is it just me? Is it because people are not interested in these topics? Is it because the production value is not so good? So these are all things I've thought about, as well as I've been exploring the option of just closing this channel down. Then I did some digging, and what I've come to find is I think every new YouTube creator now is having this incredible difficulty being able to attract new audiences, attracting people off of YouTube from elsewhere, bringing them into a new channel and introducing them to what's going on. So I have up on the screen a channel called Nexus, and I discovered this channel a little while back, and I'm just gonna load one of the videos. Basically, this is an awesome kind of news platform that's clearly, it's like an independent venture, but the production value is better than stuff you'll see like on CNN or any mainstream media outlet. So this is clearly an independent venture, but it's I don't know, is my internet working? It seems to be slowing down here. I was trying to play this. Um, I should give you a good example. I just saw that they did a documentary called The Long Con about Theranos, basically a cult that was hidden under the guise of like a medical tech company that ripped off billions of dollars in investment. But right, so the channel Nexus is talking about this, and it's a very high budget channel that I recommend for a lot of really cool, engaging subjects. I think my Indonesian internet is acting up a little bit, so I can't show any good examples of the channel. But the point is that really cool channel, really high production value. Clearly, a lot of work is being put into this channel. Production value with like the hosts and the guests. I mean, it's as good as CNN, if not better. But look down here, the subscribe count, 3.3 thousand. Right, so that's tiny. There's people like with YouTube videos about their dogs that are getting they have 1 million subscribers. The thing is that all these channels with massive amounts of subscribers, they all came on the scene at minimally a couple of years ago on through 7, 8, 9 years ago. So all of these legacy channels are doing fine because they were grandfathered in. But now what we're seeing is newer channels that appear to be fighting this kind of algorithm that is preventing newer channels from being noticed by YouTube users. So in the past, you stick a video on YouTube and you instantly have an organic audience of people from YouTube being exposed to these new ideas. Now what we're seeing is put a video on YouTube and you'll only get views based on other platforms that you're using. And if that's the case, then it leaves the question, why even use YouTube? So you can build an audience on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever, and if the only audience that you're getting is off of those platforms, then why not just put videos up independently by yourself? Why not just embed them on your website and then bring website traffic? Why not just stick them on a higher quality platform like Vimeo? Why even use YouTube at all if YouTube cannot generate new viewership for whatever your ideas are? So this would mean that YouTube would effectively be a dead platform from a marketing angle. So now that leaves us with the question about this channel: will I continue on this platform? Yes, I'm unlikely to be posting quite as frequently as I had been because I need to explore some other options. And I think a lot of people right now are just waiting for the YouTube killer to come along. And it's really difficult because we have these tech company monopolies. And the really scary thing is that when we see these tech company monopolies actively working to suppress information they don't like. So not only are they preventing, it's almost like I think what's going on is they're working against their own policies in an effort to suppress information. So YouTube is supposed to be about, basically bringing your content out into the world, exposing it to the masses, but they're betraying that in the name of preventing new channels from growing because they don't want new information out there because some group, organization, cabal, I don't know, is suddenly very intimidated by alternative media and new ideas being propagated out to people, and they're dubbing it conspiracy theories and using that broad terminology to sweep a lot of different topics under the rug. So that's kind of the conspiratorial angle to all this, but I also think that naturally there could be issues of oversaturation, too many people on YouTube, too many channels, but I feel skeptical of that because if oversaturation really did destroy internet marketing, I wouldn't still be able to make part of my living off of Amazon, and I wouldn't still have websites getting consistent Google traffic from search engine optimization. Even in websites, articles that I wrote 7 years ago, getting the same daily traffic today as it was getting 7 years back. So this really does seem like YouTube is destroying its own platform on a mission to stop new information from coming in. So the existing channels on YouTube are still going well, but to get a new channel going appears to be very close to, I wouldn't say impossible, but very difficult. Like if I wanted this channel to start getting into the tens of thousands of subscribers, I would need to begin paying a sizable amount of money to existing channels that have existing viewer bases in similar niches and ask them to promote this channel. And you do see other channels doing this. I'm surprised that this Nexus channel isn't doing that, because that's an obvious solution, because they obviously have the budget to put a lot of money behind what they're doing. So what's the main point here? Yeah, I'm going to keep doing videos on this channel, but I'm not so sure. Like I do get new subscribers, there's still growth, but I've seen that rapidly stop in the last few weeks. So I came to 500 subs about almost a month ago now, and 1 month later I'm at 556 subs. So what does that tell you? It means that like in a couple months leading up to that, I had gotten like 300 new subscribers, and then suddenly it just dropped off. Whereas what should be happening is it should be getting easier to get new subs as the channel grows. So again, it's very frustrating, but I know I've gotten some people here who just really like the content I'm producing. They really want to keep seeing videos. So I don't want to disappoint people, and I know that the videos are reaching a small audience on YouTube. It's not completely dead. If I check the analytics, I am getting a sliver of viewership that's coming in internally rather than externally. So I'm getting this sliver of new people coming in, but I mean it's just small. And the question is, will that expand, or will I eventually just close shop? My feeling is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself like a set date. Maybe it could be like the middle of this year. I'm gonna keep making the videos, and unless the algorithm improves, unless something happens where this actually feels like a sustainable option, then I'll probably close the channel down, look for a different platform, but at least I'll have this big YouTube kind of archive of information talking about some of these metaphysical topics that I know help a lot of people. So I'm happy to at least have that big archive going on. So that's it. Kind of, I don't know, this video maybe was not of any particular interest or relevance to you, but I wanted to at least let people know kind of what's going on, what the YouTube landscape is like, and also just how scary it is that what had been the major kind of like voice of the people, which is YouTube. Like anybody can stick a video up and be heard. And this has been going on since YouTube's inception, like 11 or so years ago, that anybody with a cell phone camera can be heard and get their message across. That seems to be dying. I mean, we've seen whole governments collapse because of this. I mean, if you remember the Arab Spring, that was sparked a large part due to YouTube and people putting up YouTube videos about uprisings in the Middle East, and it's toppled whole governments. So we're shifting away from that to a new era where some power that be doesn't want information getting out there. Pretty creepy stuff. So anyway, as you can imagine, I do need some subs to keep the channel going. If you like what I have to say, then hit this subscription button. And that's about it. I'll see you guys on the next video.